Hi everyone. I wanted to talk about grieving on special occasions. Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays. There's so many days that we celebrate that are joyful occasions, and then when we lose someone we love, it becomes a trigger for us. It becomes a really challenging time, and it's something that we often dread in advance because we worry about how we're going to cope on the day with our grief and with being without that person that we love so much. They're not there anymore. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Christy Roberts, and 9 months ago, my young 18-year-old son, Aaron, he tragically died in a car accident, just suddenly gone. Now, clearly it's any parent's worst nightmare, and it's really hard to comprehend this type of devastation. But I've done a lot of work with my grief. I'm a mindset and results coach, so I'm very curious about ways that we can process our grief and our emotions to, really live our best life and get the results that we want in life. And so I thought it would be helpful if I share some ideas and some tips that I've come across and brainstormed along the way for getting through those special days and those special occasions that can be so challenging for so many of us. I've also been referring to David Kessler because he's a phenomenal grief expert, and he's been an incredible resource and help along my journey. So some of these tips are from him as well. So firstly, culturally, there is an expectation that we show up and contribute and be happy on special occasions because, hey, that's the way we've always done it in the past, right? Just know everyone out there that we have free will. So we actually get to decide what's too hard, what we can cope with, what we can participate with, what we're comfortable contributing. Like, we need to decide what's okay in our grief, and that needs to be okay. Also, it's really helpful to remove expectations that we should show up. So, you might fear the day, and then on the day you might be okay. You might think you're going to be okay, and then on the day you might crash and have a massive meltdown. You might have a day where you just swing like a pendulum and your emotions are all over the place. And just know this is all normal. Like, this is normal. This is what grief is like. And when you remove the expectations of how you expect to be and remove that judgment of you're not responding a certain way, that can free us up in our grief. So just know it's all normal. There's no right, there's no wrong with any of this stuff, because grief is very unpredictable and grief is different for every person. So a tip that could be really useful is to have an exit strategy, right? So turn up, say, I can only stay a few minutes. And then if you stay longer, it's a bonus. Everyone's surprised. Also remember, no. So no is a complete sentence. When people invite us over or invite you over, you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. If you don't want to go, you can say, no, thank you. You don't need to apologize. You don't need to give reasons. You don't need to justify. No, thank you is a full sentence. And they may say, but I don't want you to be alone. You can say, I understand. No, thank you. They may say, but your loved one will want us to be together. I understand. No, thank you, not this time. So give your grief some time. I did this. I recently had my son's birthday just 2 weeks ago, and the weeks preceding it, so building up to his birthday, I worked really hard because I knew it was going to be tough. Our grief doesn't go away. It just gets triggered at these times, right? So I knew it was going to be tough. And so I actually purposefully did a lot of grief work. I did self-directed healing. I wrote letters. I spoke to him. I cried. I watched, I'm in the Tender Hearts grief group with David Kessler. I watched a lot of episodes in there. I showed up in my grief for myself. I had coaching, therapy. I even did a shamanic healing, which was quite interesting, something new. But I did a lot of work. And then on the day, because I did all that, I was able to show up. And yes, it was still emotional, of course. But I was very proud of how I showed up on the day for his remembrance. And, I was proud of myself, and I was able to honour him in a way that I wanted to. So there's no way that we're ever forgetting our loved ones. Never, ever. So one of the keys here is to include our grief in these special occasions. So if we turn up and we're emotional or have a meltdown, that's okay. If we want to leave, that's okay. If we want to talk and honour them, be open to this. If we don't want to talk, then don't talk. Just be open to however you show up and go with that, because we're not going to forget. We can't pretend this hasn't happened. We are grieving. But no, we're not broken. We don't need to be fixed. We're not broken. We're grieving. So it's normal that we would feel grief. Of course we feel grief. Be open to the idea of setting an extra place at the table for them. Be open to the idea of lighting a candle or sharing stories and reminiscing. You could create a ritual around that. You might like the idea of leaving a gift for them. You might decide that a traditional meal is too much. So, hey, mix it up. You can get frozen pizza. It doesn't actually matter what you do. You can change it up. If it's the Thanksgiving meal that's triggering or the Christmas meal that's triggering, do something else. Change it up. This can be a way when, families, it can be really tricky because one family member may be adamant they don't want to celebrate, and another one might dearly cherish that and actually need that to help with their healing. And so creating new rituals and mixing it up a bit can be quite liberating and might help with the grief. And by creating new rituals around that, that can be a way of working through those challenges where the families can have different grief, different emotions and different needs. So it comes back to what do you all need and communicating that as best you can. So yeah, you create the rules. So if you need new rules, create new rules. At the end of the day, the reality here is we are grieving. So whatever we need to feel, that's got to be okay. Remove the expectations. Whatever we need to do, that can be okay. Remove the expectations. Just do what we need when we need it, how we need it. And remember that, love yourself. Don't judge yourself in your grief. Be kind to yourself. And, I know beyond a doubt that our loved ones would, without exclusion, want us to celebrate as best we can in the way that we can, to honour ourselves, to honour them. So I trust this is of value. I wish you all the best, and please comment and like and share. Much love to you all in remembrance.